Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Lorraine. I'm coming to you from Kent in the UK. For those of you that are new, thank you for joining me. I hope you find something here that you enjoy. For those of you that are returning, thanks for coming back to spend some time with me. You are probably aware, if you follow me on Instagram, that I have been away from my channel for a short while because I've suffered a bereavement. I'm not in a position to where I feel like going into detail and wanting to discuss things, but I wanted to come on and do a video to share with you the things I've been working on. Basically, my crafting is helping me at the moment to deal with what I'm going through. So I've been focusing my energy into my cross-stitching, predominantly cross-stitching at the moment, but I have been doing some knitting. So yeah, my crafting has been helping me, and because I've got quite a few things that I've been working on or that have finished up, I thought I would just come on here, do a quick video, let you know what's going on, and share with you the things I've been making. So I'm going to jump straight into finished objects. So I have just a small handful of finished objects. I have today to show you, I have cross-stitching, knitting. I haven't done, I don't think I can't remember having done any crocheting since my last video. So it's predominantly, this time around, it's going to be knitting and cross-stitching. So if you're interested in those things, then keep watching, and let's go into finished objects. So for finished objects, I have a few things, just a warning, that I have made and that have been gifted. So I'm going to start with, first of all, a knitted finished object. So I showed you in my last video, I think, a knitting pattern that I wanted to make up for a relative who is having a baby, and this was the pattern. It was a pattern that I purchased on Etsy, so it's not by somebody that is known to me, and it is something like, I don't know, it's a very long pattern. However, though the pattern is long, I realised that the designer of the pattern, which is not written on here, I'll put it on screen, the designer of the pattern, I think she's Russian, so the way that she's written the pattern is in a longhand way, so it's not the standard way that we see nowadays in patterns where they tell you to, they kind of shorten things by saying, for example, rows 1 to 20 knit, rows 6 to 15 purl, knit, slip stitch, pass, you know, knit 1, pass, slip stitch over, blah blah blah. It's not, she's written everything out line by line, row by row. So that's why the pattern is extra long. So I think that although when I downloaded the pattern and I was kind of like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a really long, difficult pattern to do, it wasn't actually difficult. The one issue I had with it was this pattern here, this stitch pattern, I couldn't figure it out. So the way that she had written it in her paper pattern, it confused me. I had a go at it, I had a couple of attempts, I posted them on Instagram, couldn't quite figure out why my work wasn't looking like the pattern, because she has actually got photographs in here as well. So she very helpfully has put photographs of what it should look like at particular stages. So I knew that I wasn't doing it right somehow. So I thought I would put it down for a little while and then I would come back to it. And I did that. I had a look in one of my knit stitch Bibles that I have, and I discovered the stitch that is used in the pattern. And once I read that and realised what the designer was trying to tell me to do in this pattern, then it clicked, and I got going on it and I finished it up in no time. So it's a very simple pattern. If you know how to do, I can't even remember what this pattern is called, an alternating tuck stitch, this pattern. If you know how to do this pattern, the rest of it is a breeze. The pattern itself is very easy to follow in that sense, but I did have to kind of think a little bit because sometimes the way that she writes things is not quite the way that I understand things and the way that I'm used to seeing them in pattern form. So that was the only issue that I had. Otherwise the pattern is spot on. I did make a modification. I'll put a picture of the finished article up here because I don't have it with me. I've gifted it, I've sent it off because I was planning to knit it for my cousin who was expecting a baby in America. However, she's just had the baby and I had to literally get the pattern to her very quickly. So the cardigan to her quickly, so I sent that off. But I did take a photograph and I'll stick that up here so you can see what it looks like. I made modifications to the pattern, just only to the cuffs, because on the actual pattern the cuff is knitted in rib, and I felt that since the pattern actually uses like a garter stitch on the button band and the bottom here, I thought it was more and there on the hood, I thought it would be more in keeping with the pattern style to have the cuffs in the garter stitch as well, so I did that. Also I made the mistake of missing off the first button at the top there. I didn't actually read the pattern properly and I missed that there was meant to be a buttonhole there. So yeah, I did make a couple of errors on this. What else was there? It's knitted all in one from the top down, so that was interesting. I've never knitted any baby clothes from the top down all in one, so it was very easy to do that. I did get a little bit confused at points, like I said, because of the way that she'd written the pattern and the way that I'm used to seeing things written, but on the whole it was a pretty easy pattern to follow. There was something else I wanted to say about it, but I can't remember what it was now. Oh, yes, it came up small. So the biggest problem that I have with this pattern is you hold 2 strands of yarn together, double, and from what I can tell from the photographs and from the pattern, the yarn is DK weight yarn. So that's what I did. So I bought 2 DK weight yarns, held that double, and I continued to knit, and I was using 3.5mm needles as per the pattern. There's no, in the pattern there is no, oh there is a gauge, 2 stitches to 1 centimetre, 2 rows to 1 centimetre. Oh well, I didn't notice that there was gauge mentioned in the pattern. I'll have to correct that on my Ravelry notes. There is gauge mentioned in the pattern, but I hadn't noticed it. So I was working to, I don't know, I was just working away on my own, and I felt that the size came up to maybe 0 to 3 months size cardigan, that it doesn't actually say in the pattern, from what I can see, what size you are actually making. That's the other thing that is a bit annoying. So yeah, those are the only things. That's the major thing, is that for one, I didn't think there was gauge mentioned in the pattern. Clearly I've overlooked that because there is gauge mentioned here, but it doesn't mention size, what size you're actually knitting, so that's a bit annoying. But I was thinking that if I do this again, and I'd quite like to make it in a bigger size because it is quite cute, I have to figure out what gauge is going to work for me, and perhaps I was going to look at some other baby patterns that I have by other designers and see what gauge I should be working to using those. And also I thought that if I knit it again, I would probably, instead of trying to use 2 strands of DK weight yarn, I think I would just go with a chunky yarn and be done with it. A lot less hassle, and you're just using 1 strand of yarn. But yeah, that's that. So that was the first thing I finished up, and I'm quite pleased with how that turned out. Just the sizing was, I had wanted it a little bit bigger so baby has a little bit more time in it, but hey, it is what it is. Last time round, sorry, I'm reaching for my finished objects, I was working on these scrappy socks, and I finished up 1 foot, and now I have the 2. So I'm really pleased with these. The only thing I noticed with these is that instead of them being a size 7, which I expected them to be, they've actually worked up to a size 8. So I've obviously, where I've cut the heel in, I've cut it in at a point that it's slightly too long for my size 7 feet. So yeah, I'll have to rethink the way that I do my afterthought heels, because this was an afterthought, was it afterthought everything? Afterthought heel and toe, yeah, afterthought. Sock, I did go into detail in my last video, so if you want more information about how I've done these, then check the previous video, episode 38, and you will see more info on that. I'm trying to keep the videos shorter, just because it makes things slightly easier. So that's the scrappy socks, using all hand dyed yarns and the Adriaphil cream yarn for that one. The yarns for the cardigan I just mentioned, I mentioned those in my last video, but their style, it was a Stylecraft Bambino yarn, DK weight. So on to another pair of socks that I managed to finish up. I think I'd only done one leg of these in the last video, and now I have two. These are Drops Delight socks. Find that label. These, I made these 72 stitch socks for my dad. They are in the Drops Delight yarn and Drops Delight print yarn, and the colourway is 09. I'm not quite sure what the actual colour is, but it's number 9, and that's the label, Drops Delight. Okay, and that is the sock. These are a normal heel flap and gusset style sock, top down, and the yarn is self-striping. So they're pretty simple socks. I did show these off on my last video, so if we want more information on these, check out the last video. And last for the socks is a pair of Shorty Socks. I made these, I think I must have done these after the last video, because I don't recall seeing them in the video as being works in progress. These, I use my Silent Night colourway from Yorkshire Spinners yarn. I've mentioned it before. I made a hat, made gloves, I made socks. I showed those off in the last video. This is the yarn that I use, and I just did the, what are they called? Rose City Roller socks, I think. I think that's what they're called. But I basically just used, oh gosh, what are they called? I can't remember what they're called. Just give me a second and I'll find them on my Ravelry page. I like these styles of socks. I have these on today. I like these socks. So I like making them because they're very quick and they are comfy to wear, and these were using up leftover yarn, and they were meant to be a gift for Christmas, but I didn't get around to dropping them off. So these ones, like I said, are using Silent Night sock yarn by West Yorkshire Spinners, and the pattern that I used, it's not Rose City Rollers, it's the other one. What's it called? Just checking through my Jelly Rolls, that's it, Jelly Rolls socks. So I have the Jelly Rolls sock pattern, and I just made some modifications to that, in the sense that with the Jelly Rolls socks you use 2 different yarns, and there are there's detailing around this area of the sock, and I think the heel. Have I got detailing on the heel? Yeah, and then there's colourwork. The Jelly Roll socks have colourwork, these don't. These are just a slight modification. These are more like the Rose City Rollers, but I don't have that pattern, so I just used the Jelly Roll socks, made adjustments to just use one yarn without doing the detailing there, and just made them into plain Shorty socks, but with the rolls at the top. So yeah, that's all I did, using the same yarn. And they are sparkly socks, nothing strange or unusual about these, no modifications other than what I've just said. I'm quite pleased with these, and I'm ready to just get these gifted. I'm trying to get rid of the stuff that I have made as gifts for Christmas that I just haven't got around to giving to the recipients. just because, you know, life has taken over basically. So yeah, so those are my knitted finished objects. Now I have some cross stitch finished objects. So last time round I showed you this Doodlecraft design pattern, which is black work that I wanted to start working on. This was in my incoming section. I finished this one really quickly. I enjoyed it so much. I didn't think I would, but I enjoyed it so much. I literally got this done in 2 days, and this is what it looks like. I turned it into a bookmark because it's only 3 blocks high. It's black work. I just used the normal DMC 310 threads to do this. It is really easy. I found it really easy to do, and it felt quite therapeutic just sitting there stitching in one colour, no colour changes, just doing the one colour. It was quite kind of intuitive after a while because of the patterns. Once you get used to the pattern, you kind of can just remember what you need to do for the next repeat of the pattern. I found it really, really fun to do. I really enjoyed it. I want to do another one of these, but what I found was, because this is just a little introduction, it's just a taster, and I really want to do another one of these. I was thinking, I saw a peppermint purple sal on YouTube, I think, or Facebook, and I wanted to take part in that, but I've got so many things going on at the moment, I'm not sure I'm going to have the time. But I thought that I could redo this bookmark because it's a bit short for the book that I got it in at the moment, so I thought I could perhaps make it slightly longer, maybe repeat a block at the top and do it again. Or I felt like with this design, oh sorry, can you see that? With this design I can just duplicate the boxes and go out that way if I want to, and just create something completely different. But yeah, I felt like I can, with this design, I can have a little bit of fun. It doesn't have to be a bookmark. I can make it into something completely different, a book cover, you know, whatever. And I can have fun with it now that I know how easy it is to do and how much I enjoy doing it. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it. That's the design. I got it on Etsy. And that's your information there. And yeah, that one, I did it so quickly. I just started using it straight away as a bookmark. So then I've moved on to, what else? I did this Hinton Stitches Garden Herms. This was gifted to me. This kit was gifted to me. There are 2 in the kit that came to me from a viewer. Thank you, Mandy. And this one was the first one. It's called Herb Garden. Then there was another one that was called Orchard Fruits. So this one I have gifted. I finished it and I've gifted it to a relative, and I will put a picture up here of what it looks like when it was done. I made quite a few mistakes on this. I decided also that the kind of gingham border, I decided to do that in a variegated thread, a DMC variegated thread. I've never used variegated threads before, and I decided to buy some just before, what, Christmas I think, or no, December or something, and I thought this would be the perfect pattern to use it on, so I had a go with that. Enjoyed stitching with it. I was learning how to use it. I do buy the World of Cross Stitching magazine, and in the back of that, or halfway through it somewhere, in one of the recent editions, there was information on how to use variegated threads. So I kept hold of that magazine, read through that, and then when I decided to start this, I had some idea of how to use the variegated threads. I wasn't aware that it was going to be a case of me having to do each stitch on its own just so that the colour and the variation would show better, rather than doing blocks of stitches, what do you call it, railroading. If you railroad, where you just keep doing the first leg of the stitch all the way along, and then you go back and complete the second leg. If you work that way with variegated threads, my understanding is that the colour in variegated threads doesn't actually show so much. It kind of messes up the flow. And also, if you're doing, if you use one strand and you double it, that messes up the way that the variegated thread works as well. So you're supposed to use 2 separate strands of thread, thread your needle and do your stitching that way rather than doubling it, because then it messes up the way that the colours flow. That's my understanding. If I'm wrong, correct me in the in the comment section, but that's my understanding. So that's how I worked part of the first one, part of the herb garden. I was doing it railroading, and I hadn't realised that I was supposed to do it, you know, the way I've just said. So part way through I changed tact after reading the article, and yeah, I think it did make a slight difference. So that one, I finished that up, but like I said, I've gifted it. I'll put a picture up so you can see what it looks like in final form. And then also I completed the orchard fruits one, which I don't have a picture for. It didn't come with a picture, unfortunately. However, I absolutely love the way this one turned out. So this one, I used the variated threads again, but when I was reading the pattern, I got the colouring wrong. So whereas this one, I thought this one was blue, gingham style around the outside, when I went to do the orchard fruit one, I thought that that was going to be blue, so because the symbols were the same. So I started using the blue thread, only to realise when I started to read the colour key that it was meant to be green, but I'd already done the blue. So I decided to do partially green and part blue, and this is what it turned out like. So you can see, if I bring it in closer, the variated blue threads there around the edge, and then that's where I made the mistake using the blue. That's supposed to be a darker green, but then I used the green that was suggested as well for the other blocks, and I think it came out really nicely. I'm really pleased with the way it came out, even though I made a mistake and didn't follow the pattern accurately. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I love the boldness of this pattern. It's very, very easy to follow. This is done on 14 count Aida, 14 count Zweigart Aida, and stitched 2/1, and yeah, the threads are anchor threads in this case. Yeah, and I love the way it turned out. They're very bold patterns, very bold colours, each fruit, and I'm trying to decide how to finish this off really, if I put it on a mount board and then stick it in a frame, stick it in my kitchen, or what I do with it. Not quite decided what I'm going to do with it, but I'm pleased that this one is finishing, and I really, really love the way that the border turned out. I may actually do another one of these, because it was a lot of fun to do it as well, because like I said, I've been using my stitching as a kind of a means of comfort and a focus for my thoughts, and doing this, just doing the blocks, I didn't have to think too much. It was just a repetitive pattern, so I didn't have to think very much about it, and I just managed to get on with that. And then obviously when it came to this bit, I had to think a little bit, but it kind of gave me a little bit of focus. But yeah, I really did enjoy doing this one. It took a little while, but I really enjoyed doing it, and I found it difficult to put it down when I got started on it. So yeah, really pleased with that one. So that's my other cross stitch. Then I have another cross stitch project. So you may remember I started this one a while ago. This one is a design by Bothy Threads, and it's called Shall We Dance. This is what it looks like. Very colourful again. I seem to gravitate towards very colourful projects. This one is worked on Aida, 14 count Aida 2/1, again using, I think the Bothy threads use Madeira threads. So whereas this one is anchor threads that I used, this one was Madeira threads, I think. I could be wrong, but I think that on their website they say that they use Madeira threads. So yeah, but this is what it looks like. So I'm really pleased with the finished product on this. This has taken a while because I put it down to do other things, and then I've come back to it. I made loads of mistakes along the way. There was a lot of ripping out, not because the pattern's difficult, but just because I wasn't focused at times on this, and I wasn't paying attention to the colour placements. There are a lot of colour changes in this. Hopefully you can see. So you start at the head, for example, and there's about 3 different colours just in the nose, and then, you know, as you go through, there are lots and lots of different colours to work through. So there's a lot of colour changes, but it adds to the finished project. It is so pretty. I want this to go in my bathroom, and I will have a think about how to display that, whether or not I don't know. Somebody mentioned that putting cross stitch in their bathroom might not be great in terms of condensation and your projects, but I'm thinking that if I stick it in a frame, it should be okay, shouldn't it? If it's put on a mount board and then framed, it should be okay. It should be protected from the elements. So yeah, but yeah, I'm loving it. The fabric is a pre-printed fabric, so all the little blue dots that you see around there, like these up here, these are already printed on the fabric. There are some bits that I've had to that the pattern calls for you to stitch on yourself around there, which is fine. I think I've still got to do the black line around the eye on this one. I've got to do the black line around the eye. Black stitching, I keep saying black line, the back stitching around the eye there. But other than that, it's finished and I'm really pleased with it. This one got a lot of favourable comments on my Instagram when I put that up. I think a lot of people really like it because of the colours. So yeah, so that's that one. Then my stitching is really coming on. I think I'm improving. As you know, I'm kind of a beginner to cross stitching, but I've really gotten into it. I'm finding it quite relaxing to work through things, stitching, and yeah, so it's just getting better for me. Then I moved on to a biscornu. I really wanted to work on a biscornu, which is a pin cushion, and I'd seen so many people do these pin cushions and they look so pretty. So I think I was just flicking around, going down a rabbit hole on Etsy one day, and I found this pattern, which is the floral biscornu, floral garden biscornu. That's what it looks like. I posted pictures on my Instagram. I decided to have a go at this. The only thing with this pattern, it gives you the chart for the top and the bottom, but it doesn't actually tell you how to make it up. So I had to watch YouTube videos to figure out how to put it all together. So anyway, this says 32 count, work over 2 threads. Well, I didn't do 32 count. I used 16 count Ada, and I did it 2/1, and I used, what thread did I use? I used the variegated one that I used on the herb garden and the orchard fruits. I used the variegated thread. I think it's 4240, DMC 4240, the blue variegated thread. And this is what my biscornu looks like. I need to stick a button on it, but I'm trying to find the right button to go top and bottom, so eventually that will be finished up properly. But this is so cool. I love the way this worked out. The pattern was really easy to follow. I made a ton of mistakes because, again, it requires some focus to ensure that you're not making mistakes like I did. It's a symmetrical pattern, so it's quite easy to follow if you're really paying attention to what you're supposed to be doing. And then the underside looks like this, very simple on the bottom, and I absolutely love it. For my first biscornu, just need to get the button on there, and then that's done. So I've stuffed it with the stuff that you use to stuff toys, that polyester kind of fibre filled thing. I've used that and stuffed that inside, and I'm really pleased with the way that's finished up. So yeah, the variegated threads. The only thing I think is that I can't really see. You can't probably. Yeah, I don't think you can see either that on the camera the variated colouring with the thread. It's not so obvious with this thread. Slightly, you can see where it slightly turns from like a royal blue to a very navy blue, but it's not obvious. There are not obvious changes. It's pretty subtle. So I think I'd like to try some other kind of variated threads, and I did post on Instagram if anybody had any suggestions, and yeah, I will at some point decide to buy some. I think it was Colourworks, something like that. But yeah, I've got to find projects for all these things, and I've got quite a few projects that I'm just lined up waiting to start on. So yeah, so I finished this one, really pleased with that. and I would do another one again. So that was done on 16 count Ada, and I did that 2/1 using 4240 DMC variated thread, and that's that. So those are my finished objects. I have a couple of works in progress still. Let me just check what I've got on my... Yeah, so I have a couple of works in progress, but let me clear all this away and then I will show you those. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first whip, which I've been working on for a while now, and this is a Heaven and Earth design, full coverage, and it's called Life is an Open Book London, and it's a storybook style. The artwork is by Amy Stewart, and I am working this on 25 count Lugana using DMC threads, and I'm working it 1/1. My needle minder is by, let's see, I think my needle minder is by Denkai Designs. That's who I usually buy my needle minders by. So I'm going to flip this over. I'll try and insert a picture of what it looked like last time I worked on it. And here is what it looks like currently. So I've done a bit of work in this section here since the last time you saw it. I think I would have done the whole of Big Ben here. I've been working up here. I did this bit yesterday and some bits here. It's taken, that was like, all of this bit amounted to like 242 stitches, I think. I have started using Pattern Keeper. I'm using one of my kids' Kindles, and I started using Pattern Keeper to see if it speeds me up with this or helps in any way, because so many people on YouTube are recommending Pattern Keeper for cross stitching. So I thought I'd have a go, try and get it on the device and have a go, and I actually really like it. I was using prior to that Good Notes to see how I got on with that, and that was recommended by Teresa Little Stitcher, and that works fine as well if you don't have an Android device. Good Notes works quite well too. There is a difference between Good Notes and Pattern Keeper. Pattern Keeper is a lot more cross-stitch friendly in that you can just, it highlights particular symbols. It has a lot of features on it that are more specific to cross-stitching, whereas Good Notes is more specific to just annotating PDF documents, I feel. So yeah. But yeah, I've been using the Pattern Keeper for the last, well, for this section. While I was working on this section last night, I did Pattern Keeper and I managed to get all of that done. So it was really, really quick. And then prior to that, I'd done a little bit here. But as I said, I'm using my son's Kindle to access Pattern Keeper. So it's taken a little while, especially when he needs to use it. I don't get a chance to do any of this stitching with this. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. This is where I'm at. I feel like I could get I want to fill in this section and have that complete so I can create more of a picture, and then I just want to work that way and complete the top bit and then start working downwards. That's the plan. Whether or not that happens, we shall see. But yeah, so that is that. I have also been working on, I'm trying to, you can probably see a trend in that I'm trying to finish things up. So I finished up the Shall We Dance cross stitch, I finished up the Biscornu, the other two designs, the Herb Garden and the Orchard fruits. I'm trying to finish up things that I've started so that I can start some new things, and I've been working on this tapestry which is called Freezing Season, and I didn't actually bring the picture with me. I'll try and insert a picture of what it looks like according to the actual pattern. It's a dimensions kit that I got on Amazon, and I thought it was a cross stitch kit, but it turned out to be a tapestry kit using flosses, not wool. So yeah, I've finished the stitching on this. Last time round I think I only had half of it done, or a third of it, but now I've finished the stitching and now I'm working on the outline, so I'm doing all the back stitching and adding all the details. So this is where I've got to. So this is what it looks like with all the stitching complete. I'll bring it in closer so you can see I've added the smile. So you can see here I've added this back stitching here for the smile. I've added some detail down here for the outline of the scarf, the hat, the nose, for example. There are bits to be added on this scarf, like there's yellow bits to add to define the squares on this. There's a lot more to do up the top. I've got a lot of back stitching to do at the top, and of course I've got the name to add up here as well. So I've got some finishing to do on this, but I've essentially finished all the stitching and I'm really pleased about that. I actually like the way it looks on camera. It's coming up really nice on camera. Once I've done all the detail, then of course comes the job to cut it all out and put it all together to make it into a stocking. Excuse me. I'm not sure if I'm going to try and do that all in one go, or if I'm going to just do the detailing, put it down for a while, and then find some time, most likely find some time when I can actually just focus on putting it all together. So it comes with, oh, I've left it somewhere else, sorry. It comes with felt for the backing, so this is what the back looks like. It's not bad. I mean, it's a bit of a mess when you look at it closely, but you know, who's going to look at the inside? I'm wondering if I should add some interfacing over this, or perhaps attach the felt to the back of this and then do the quilting like I did for the other stocking. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to finish it off properly. I did like the quilting that I used for the other dimension stocking kit, so I may just try and do the same thing there and just do the quilting and attach that, and hopefully I can do a better job of this since I have an idea what to do this time around. But yeah, so that is I think that's it. Those are my whips. So my Heaven and Earth Design and my Freezing Season are the two whips that I have been working on. I have other things that I want to go back to, for example, oh no, I've got this one, I forgot, totally forgot. I've also got Lakeside Village. That's the last work in progress I have. So try and insert a picture of what this one's supposed to look like when it's done. I'll just take the chart off. So here we go. So Lakeside Village I've made quite a lot of progress on. The last time that I showed you Lakeside Village I had just this bit done. Just the top bit here was done, and after the video I worked on this so much. It was such an enjoyable project. I was really thrilled with how it was going. This is being worked on 18 count Ada, and I'm working this a mixture of full crosses and half crosses, and it's 2/1 in most cases. I think, yeah, it's 2/1, and this is where I've got to. I've done quite a bit of this. I haven't yet completed a full page, but I'm very close to completing a full page. I'm loving the way the picture is building up, and that I can see the tops of buildings around here. I have this section to work on down here. I've done all of this page for this section is done, so it's just a matter of working this bottom section along here, finishing that off, and then I will have a page finish, and I'll be able to move on to the next page. And I'm not sure if I'm going to go that way or if I'm going to go downwards. I'm thinking maybe if I go that way then I start to build a picture, but we shall see. So that's how far I've got with Lakeside Village. I'm really, really pleased with how it's working. I'm loving this. That's why, part of the reason why I wanted to finish up some of my other projects, so that I can get back to working on this, make a bit more progress. This has a lot of, what's the word? Combined threads. So I will have to, in some cases, I have to use half crosses. And then in other cases I use full crosses, and I have to use a combination of 2 threads, and some cases it's just 1 thread. And so there's a lot of thinking that has to be done with this one. you have to really pay attention to what the pattern is instructing you to do, because yeah, otherwise you end up making mistakes and ripping stuff out where you've gone a bit wrong. So yeah, it is it's not a mindless project, but it is quite enjoyable. I love the way that the picture is building up. I love the way that this is working up. I'm enjoying seeing the progress on this, and I can't wait to get back to this one. But I really want to finish up the freezing season one. This one, I really want to finish this up, get it ready to stitch on my sewing machine, to stitch together. Once that's done, then I'm thinking I can come back to this one and possibly even start a new project. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. I have finished up quite a few things. I have some crocheting that I want to start, but or go back to, but I haven't really been focusing on crocheting so much. But yeah, that's it. That's my finished objects. Those are my whips. Incoming, let's see, what do I have incoming? Oh, I was going to show you my seat stand, wasn't I? So give me a moment even, and then I will switch into incoming mode. Okay, for incoming, you probably saw from when I held up this project, I have a new stand. So this is the Siesta lap stand. I think it's called a lap stand. Let's see if I can find the, it comes in a case, a big case like this, and you can fold it over. It's got like padding here, and you can sit it on your lap, and it stands up for you to do your stitching. So this just arrived yesterday, so bear with me. It sits like this. Sits in the bag like this, and then you literally can just tilt it the way you want it. I can adjust it. Hold on a sec. It's because I've just been showing it off, it's difficult to adjust it, but you can adjust it to the way you want to work basically, and it will hold its position with the wing nuts. That's what I was using yesterday with Pattern Keeper, and I found it so relaxing to do, and I enjoyed stitching on that. But like I said, I only got it yesterday, so I can't really give a proper review of this, of what I think of it. See if I can find a picture so I can show you. Oh, what did I do with it? There it is. That's the picture that came with it, so that's what it is that I've got. A Siesta Lapman, and I bought this on Lakeside Needleworks website, which is where I buy my threads and my cross stitching stuff, because they're really good, very fast, very speedy, and they usually have what I need in stock. So yeah, so that's my latest purchase. Before that, I had bought for Christmas, my dad gave me some money, and I did buy myself this seat stand, because I really wanted something a bit more hands-free for my stitching. This one, you sit on this bit, you put this underneath your butt, you can adjust the height here with this, and then you have the clamps here that adjust to whatever position you want, and you clamp your well, the Q-snap doesn't quite fit comfortably in this, so this is what I found, and this is why I decided to go try that different frame there. The Q-snap doesn't hold as comfortably in this as embroidery hoops, so for this one I use the embroidery hoops. It opens up really wide, it opens up wide enough for the Q-snap, but it just doesn't hold it as firmly as I'd like it to. Let's see if I can see, it goes up quite wide. It can go wider than that obviously, but it's not the solution for my Q-snaps or my R&R frames to hold it so that I can sit and stitch hands-free, because it does hold it for a while and then it slips. So I prefer to use the embroidery hoops with this one. But yeah, this one's I haven't used this for a short while, but it will probably come out again at some point when I start some new projects. But this was what I wanted to show you last time. I've also got Let me find them. Oh, bear with me. I've also got these. I've lost them. Okay, well I got some needle, what do you call them? Needle threaders, metal needle threaders, which have come in handy over the last couple of weeks with stitchy projects. But I'll probably have to show you those next time. They're the metal ones. I don't know what I've done with them. Anyway, so I've got some of those to help me with the finer needles, because with what one was I stitching that has a really fine needle? I think it was the, I don't know, the Biscornu. One of the projects I've been working on has a really fine needle, and I was having difficulty threading it, so I use these little metal needle threaders, and they work a treat to get the thread through the needle without me struggling so much. So I was using that quite a lot. I also picked up these. If I can remember, I will put all the information as to where I got this stuff from in the description box, because I can't remember off the top of my head. It was a little while ago. I picked up a packet of these thread holders as well. I was using this for the orchard fruits and the herb garden one, because the threads, I didn't have thread holders for those, so I used this, and it has comes with little sticky dots so you can put your symbols on and just hang your threads on, so that was useful. And you get, how many do I get in these? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 in a packet. On Amazon I think I got these. I'll try and remember to put that info in the description box. And also on Amazon I picked up these little clips, scissor snips or something like that. I got 4 in a packet, and they're like scissors, but you just squeeze them and they snip your threads, and you can get really close to things and just snip flat like that. And I find them really useful. I've got 4 of these, and I've been using these more than I've been using the scissors that I bought, just because they're a lot handier. Yeah, I like just being able to do that and just cut close to the thread. So yeah, so those are my incoming things. I haven't bought any yarn. I've got some threads on order because, oh, that's what I forgot. I've got a new pattern, a new chart. Hold on a sec. I got a new chart that I ordered. Do you know what? I've forgotten to show you one of my whips as well. Oh, I'll have to show you that next time. Where's the chart gone? Here it is. Next time I will show you. I got the Made to Create sale by Caterpillar cross stitch as well. I've started that, but I'll show you that in my next video. I've done part 1. I've posted on Instagram what my part 1 looks like. I did make a mistake in it, but yeah, just for the sake of keeping this video short, I'll show you that next time round. But yeah, incoming, I picked up this pattern on Etsy. This is the African Tribal Lady, and it's by STG Stitch UK. This is done on 14 count Ada, and it uses anchor thread, so I'm waiting for my threads to arrive. This is what it looks like. I'll show you that. I just loved the look of this and decided to order it and see if I can do that in cross stitching. That's what it looks like. Comes with a complete thread list. It's just the chart you get, and I've bought my fabric. I already had the fabric, so this is, I think it's Dirty Zweigart Ada, and this is a 14 count Ada. No, is it 14? Maybe. Yeah, 14 count Ada, 14 count Zweigart in the colour Dirty. I'm pretty sure that's Dirty. I used this for another chart that I did recently. I'm waiting for my threads to arrive, and then I can get started on this one. So that is the new thing that I have picked up. I have, like I said, I've got other charts in my stash that I want to get going on as well, but that is my most recent purchase. So yeah, that is it. That's where I'm at. My stitchy bug has just increased. I'm really into stitching. I'm finding it soothing at the moment. Knitting, I've been doing some knitting, but I'm more comforted by the cross stitching for some reason right now. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say. This is it. This is what I've been up to. Hopefully you've enjoyed seeing what I've been up to. If you have, give me some thumbs up. Let me know in the comments section below the video. Yeah, I have forgotten. I did have a giveaway running, didn't I? And it was for the Silent Night. Gosh, what have I done with it now? I'm so sorry. I've got all this stuff all around me and I can't seem to find the pattern. I had this pattern here just a minute ago. When is it all done? I have the sock pattern. The West Yorkshire Spinner sock pattern that I showed earlier. Where is it now? There it is. Comet. That one. By Winwick Mum. This one I had it up for grabs. I was doing a giveaway for this in my last video, and the winner of that giveaway is Alison Rose Boom. So Alison, you are the winner of this pattern. I will send it to you. I think, let me know your contact details. I think I may have them from a previous giveaway, but just send me your contact details and I'll get that out in the post to you. I will have other giveaways because I've got other patterns that I want to share with you, other things that I think you guys may be interested in. But I think for the sake of keeping this video short, I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for joining me. I do hope you are staying safe and you're all well, and I will see you in my next video. Stay subscribed if you want to see when I upload my newest video. I can't tell you when that will be, hopefully in about a month's time as per usual. But do click on the subscribe and the notifications bell and you will know when I am uploading my next video. Thanks so much for watching to the end and see you next time. Bye for now.